Welcome back to Reading Children's Books with Kids Book Pub and publishing our children's stories. We are reading a story about the Nuts. Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. Now, the author of the Nuts also authored Pete the Cat, I Love My White Shoes. This is Eric Litwin, and it's illustrated by Scott Magoon. And there's a little excerpt, of course, in the back about both of them. And a website that you can contact them for a little bit more information. This book comes with a free download, a song and lullaby, which I'll show you at the end if you stay tuned for that. I won't sing the lullaby because I don't know what the beat is actually supposed to be, but when my kids and I read this book, we kind of get into it a little bit, kind of a little crazy, because it's funny. And they have little pictures within each page which within each illustration, which are really funny, and my kids get a big hoot holler. Now, my kids are 5 and 7 years old, so anything that has to do with hind enders is the funniest thing in the whole wide world. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy. This is The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. It was time for bed. The day was done. But Hazel and Wally were still up having fun. And they sang together. We're nuts! We're nuts! We're nuts! So Big Mama Nut, in her mama voice, said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Sweet Hazelnut would not go to her room. She wiggled and giggled and howled at the moon. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. We're nuts! We're nuts! We're nuts! So Big Mama Nut, in her big voice, said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Wally Nut danced like a baby baboon. He wiggled and giggled and he howled at the moon. Howl! Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. We're nuts! We're nuts! We're nuts! We're nuts! So Big Mama Nut, in her bigger voice, said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Houston, we have a praline. Did Hazel stop singing? Big a nut, big a nut, big a nut. No. Did Wally stop playing? Cha 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 cha. No. They had not heard a word that their mama was saying. So they bounced up and down like two happy balloons. Hee 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 hee. They wiggled and giggled. They howled at the moon. Howl, howl. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. We're nuts! We're nuts! We're nuts! Toot toot! So Big Mama Nut, in her biggest voice, said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Those nuts did not budge. Mama gave them the look. She put her foot down. Her long finger shook. Aw, nuts! She marched them to bed. She tucked them in tight. Then, just before Mama Nut turned off the light, she asked. Hazel asked, are we still your sweet little nuts? So Big Mama Nut said, no matter what, you will always be my sweet little nuts. And that nutty family sang together. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. And all was calm and nutty and right. So Mama Nut turned off the light. Good night, little nuts, good night. So this is the lullaby, which I haven't listened to the tune. I tried to download it. It didn't have any space on my cell phone. So, extra bonus, the Nutty Lullaby. Good night, little nut, good night. Good night, little nut, good night. I love you the way you are. You're my nutty shining star. Good night, little nut. Good night. And you can download it at thenutfamily.com, which you've got the address here. So I hope you enjoyed it. The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. I got this book at Shopko. So you can get it online, and I'll put the link below, but that's where I got it, and I paid $4 for it, so I was pretty excited about it. Me, my little book adventure. But I tell you what, it's so funny, some of the illustrations on here, and if you look at each illustration, I don't want to give it away, because they're hidden pictures within each of them, and it's kind of like a search and find, which is super fun to go through. First of all, look at the house on the first page. Their nut house is awesome. Who doesn't want a tree house that has a slide coming off of it that goes into Dippin' Dots and then has another tree house extension with a telescope that looks up to the sky? And I mean, how cool is that? So jealous. And then all the little hidden blurbs that they have, you'll see in your copy when you get it, but it's a little hard to show them to fit each of the illustrations in this little screen here for you to take a look at. All right, I'm going on and on. So I hope you guys, if